Today, we're going to talk about a personality type that so many of us know. Maybe you were even praised for being this way. We're talking about the easy child. And, well, we're about to unpack the hidden, long-term costs that often come with that label.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. Think back, way back to your childhood. Were you the one who just never made a fuss? You know, the kid who was always independent, super compliant, the one your parents could just count on to, well, to be okay? The one who, like it says here, caused no drama? If that's ringing any bells for you, then you are absolutely in the right place.
You know, it's funny. Society loves the easy child. We praise these kids for being so mature, for being these little adults. They're compliant, they don't have meltdowns, and they just seem to handle everything with this calm that feels way beyond their years. From the outside, they are never a source of worry. But, and this is a big but, this is where the whole story takes a really sharp turn.
What if that whole easygoing thing wasn't actually a personality trait at all? What if it was something that was learned, something that was practiced, and ultimately, something that was necessary to just get by? That is the core idea we are going to unpack today.
Okay, this right here, this is the crucial reframe. What looked like a calm, compliant child on the outside was often something completely different on the inside. It was an adaptation to stress. What everyone saw as maturity, it was actually a survival mechanism. See, this easy persona often shows up when a child figures out subconsciously that their environment, maybe there was a lot of conflict or stress about money or a sick parent, is just calmer and safer when they don't have any needs. So causing no drama isn't really about being a good kid. It's about survival. And the price for that survival is internalizing every single one of their real emotions.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? This isn't about a child just deciding to be quiet. This is about a child learning, with some serious cleverness, that their needs might just add more fuel to an already stressful fire. So what do? They minimize them. They make themselves small and quiet and totally self-sufficient, all to protect the peace of the home, which, in the end, was their way of protecting themselves.
So the big question is, what happens when this kid grows up?
Well, that clever little childhood strategy, it doesn't just disappear. Oh no, it becomes a really deep pattern of behavior. And as we're about to see, it carries some pretty serious consequences into adulthood.
And here it is, the hidden price tag. That pattern of making yourself smaller doesn't just stay in your childhood bedroom. It can lead to a lifelong struggle to even figure out what you want or need. You get really, really good at swallowing your stress, often without even knowing how much you're holding on to. And this can look like a few different things, like chronic people-pleasing, an extreme vulnerability to burnout, and it can make setting even the smallest boundary feel like this huge, guilt-ridden challenge.
And if you had to boil it all down to one single powerful truth, it would be this. That super independent child, the one who is praised for never needing a thing, grows into an adult who feels like it's impossible, or maybe even wrong, to ask for help. I mean, they've spent their entire life proving they're not a burden.
But listen, here is the most important part of this whole conversation. Recognizing this pattern isn't about blame or regret, not at all. It's about understanding. And once you have that understanding, you get the power to choose a new path forward, one that shifts from all that quiet compliance to actively listening to yourself.
So where do you even start? Well, the first step is actually pretty simple. It's just to acknowledge the pattern. See that easy child not as someone who was flawed, but as someone who was incredibly clever and adaptive. It was a skill you had to learn to survive. And then the second step is to start listening to the quiet. Just gently, with no judgment, start to pay attention to those tiny feelings or needs that you've always just pushed down. What is your body trying to tell you? What does that quiet part of you actually want?
And so I'll leave you with this question, kind of a starting point for your own active listening. Take a moment for yourself today and just think about it. What is one need? It could be big, it could be small. Did you have been minimizing just to keep the peace? Answering that honestly for yourself, that might just be the very first step in a whole new, much healthier conversation.